Hey, it's Jen from Teal and Finch, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this chunky, cozy bobble blanket. This is one of my favorite blankets. I just love to put it on the couch and snuggle with it. I also think it would make a great baby blanket. So I'll walk you through step by step from the beginning how to crochet this really simple, relatively quick blanket. If you want to modify the blanket, I have a very detailed description of how to do that in the pattern. So I will put a link to the pattern below, and if you want to purchase that, it has the whole pattern written out for you and then descriptions of how you can modify it and make it smaller. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so what you need for this project is some super bulky yarn. I am using Loops and Threads Cozy Wool, and you will need a 9mm hook. Mine says N, sometimes it will say M though, so 9mm is just the best way to go. And then some scissors and a tapestry needle. Tie a slip knot and chain 104 stitches. So we will just yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through, and keep going till you get to 104. Just trying to keep them all pretty much even in their size. Okay, so I've chained 104, and now I'm going to chain 3 more to get us up to the next row. So you'll chain a total of 107 when you're all done. Alright, so for the first row, we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So just like we did with the gauge swatch. So go ahead and yarn over and count 1, 2, 3, 4 and put your thumb there. Then you'll know you can insert in the 4th chain. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. And we're going to double crochet in every chain. So by the end, we should have 104 stitches. So you'll have 106 double crochets, and then this chain 3 on the end counts as a stitch. Okay, so that should give us 104. All to be pretty close. Okay, so double crochet all the way to the end, and then you'll be done with row 1. Alright, so for row 2, we are going to single crochet in the front loop only. So go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to go in just the front loop. So insert your hook in the first stitch, front loop only, pull up a loop, and pull through. And front loop only, pull up and pull through. Alright, and so just keep single crocheting in the front loop all the way across until you get to the end. Okay, so I've single crocheted to the end of row 2, and just so you can see, it kind of creates that ridge by going through the front loop only. It's kind of a nice design element. So in the last chain 3 here, remember that counts as a stitch, so you're going to do 1 more single crochet in the top of the chain 3. Alright, now we're going to chain 3 and turn for the next row, and we double crochet in this row, skip the first single crochet, double crochet in the next stitch, and just keep going again all the way across so you get to the end of the row. Here is how we will do our first bobble row. Alright, so chain 1 and turn, and the pattern for this first bobble row is 7 single crochets in the front loop only and then the bobble. So that will be 8 stitches that we will use. So single crochet in the front loop only for 7 stitches, Okay, and then it's time for the bobble. So when we work in the bobble, we're going to go through both stitches, not just the front loop. All right, so the bobble is basically 4 double crochets joined together at the top. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then do that again in the same stitch. Pull through 2. Do that again, and then one more time. Okay, so it starts to get sort of crowded there, and that's good because that's what will make our bobble. So when you look, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4 partially completed double crochets right there. So 4 of those stitches on the hook, and then we'll have 1 left over from the single crochet before. So a total of 5 loops are on the hook. So yarn over and pull through all of those. Now what makes the bobble is, kind of use my thumb right there. In the next stitch, we're going to single crochet front loop only, and then just go ahead and this single crochet gets a little bit hidden, but if you pull it nice and tight, it will pop out the bobble. Okay, so I'll show that to you again. So let's do our 7 single crochets. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so to do the bobble, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and it's just like starting a double crochet. So do that 3 more times. Okay, so we have 4 partially completed double crochets and then the loop from the single crochet. So yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on the hook. Kind of pop it out there and then just go right into your next single crochet. But I'm just kind of pulling to keep everything tight and pop out the bobble. Okay, so we will continue. So this is a multiple of 8 here, 7 single crochets and then the bobble stitch. So that will take you all the way to the end of your row. You'll notice though the last is the chain 3. So you don't want to do a bobble because you'll do 7 single crochets to end and then it's supposed to be a bobble, but we don't want to do that in the very last stitch. So just do a single crochet in the last stitch and it will remind you of that in the pattern. It just can be kind of awkward to put a bobble in the last stitch because you can't follow it with a single crochet. So anyway, just wanted to show that to you. So go ahead and that's how you do your first bobble row. Okay, so we finished that bobble row and now we are going to repeat these 3 rows that we did before. So we're going to double crochet, single crochet in the front loop, double crochet again, and then meet me back and we will do the next bobble row, but I'll show you how to stagger the bobbles. Okay, so just get started, chain 3, and you skip the first and go right into your double crochet in the second stitch there. All right, so double crochet the whole way across, single crochet in the front loop the next row, and then double crochet again, and that will be that for those rows. Okay, so I finished those 3 rows right after the bobble row, and now it's time for another bobble row, but we're going to stagger the bobbles. So this time we're going to do 3 single crochets in the front loop, then a bobble, and then 4 single crochets, and then the pattern will repeat. 3 single crochets, bobble, 4 single crochets, all the way to the end of the row. So chain 1 and turn, And we're still just working in the front loop. So there's our 3 single crochets and then the bobble. All right, and just pull that tight when you do the next single crochet. Okay, so there's 1. So 4 single crochets, and then the pattern repeats. 3 single crochets. So of course you would, if you lose count, there's a total of 7. Okay, so 7, and then the bobble. Okay, so we will just do that for the whole row, and you'll end with those 4 single crochets at the end of the row, and then all the bobbles will be staggered from the previous row. Okay, so you can finish that row and then I'll show you what to do next. I've come to the end of that second bobble row where they're staggered. And what we notice here is rows 1 through 8 have come to about 6 inches in height. And so this is a good place to just repeat what we have already done. Okay, so just keep repeating those rows 1 through 8 until your blanket gets the length that you want. And then just to remind you, I do have the pattern linked below. And at the end, it will tell you how to make the blanket smaller or even a little bit larger if you want. But it has the calculations for how to chain for smaller lengths or widths, and then also for calculating how much yarn you will need. Some little tips there and some specific things to help you along. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the blanket, and please tag me if you share your blanket on Instagram. I love to see them. Thanks.